6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Otis, you crazy mother.
All right, guys, it's your boy, Sage the Mock. I guess it'd be easy if I just pan to me since I'm, the presenter here. So first off, thank you guys for continuing to support It's Real Wrestling Podcast, IRWP. If you're new here, help us grow by hitting the subscribe and the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Real WrestleCast. Today, I thought it would be good, since we are on the eve of UFC 203, that we would start dissecting the evolution of Punk. As you know, CM Punk is an ex-professional wrestler who's currently signed to the UFC. Feel free to join the conversation by using the hashtag IRWP. So before we go any further into the episode, I just want to go ahead and introduce our special jobber of this series, which will be Guru the God. Guru the God, how's it going, bro? How you feeling?
Hey, it's good, man. How you doing?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Actually, believe it or not, I'm your little brother, and I do nothing but MMA. That's all I do. I study it, I fought it, I review it, I watch it. I mean, that's what I do. Like you do wrestling, I do the cage. That's just my area of expertise. So got a lot of knowledge, got a lot of haters. Everyone's not gonna like what I say, of course, because everyone has an opinion. But at the end of the day,
the only prerequisite is you be you.
Hey, I say pretty much what I feel and what I see and observe, but there's many people who review the same thing and have a different opinion. It's just how it is.
Cool beans, man. Cool beans. So you still got a school, or what's going on with the school thing, man? How active are you in the MMA community nowadays?
As far as fighting, man, I'm kind of backed out through injuries. I got a severe back injuries that I can never overcome. My spine's been fused together. But I do train people on the side. I kind of took my skills from fighting to training. So now, I'll help out people in the boxing area, kickboxing area. But as far as me grappling and rolling with them, that doesn't happen no more due to my injuries. So.
Okay. All right, man. Well, that's good to know, man. I need to get back into the game myself. So maybe I'll make that trip if I'm gonna ask you, you can give me a little discount on your services, though.
Hey, I give you that free discount, bro.
That free discount.
That free discount.
Yeah, that free discount, bro. Perfect, man. So, as you already know, man, we're gonna go ahead and talk about this webinar series, the evolution of Punk, which is basically chronicling the last year to year and a half or so of CM Punk, up to, I believe, leading into UFC 203.
Yes.
I had an opportunity to see the 3 episodes that have already aired or dropped on YouTube. Haven't had an opportunity to look at the 4th one, which I think is going to be dropping sometime this week, but we should be having the next reviews up pretty soon here. So, but right out of the gate, the first episode starts off with critics expressing their opinions about CM Punk. Most of them have been real negative, including fans and professionals alike. But I was wondering, if the remarks itself were justified, almost bad for him, because, it's just been overall just real negative. And you would think that with MMA being as, prideful and respectful of all fighters, it's critical of outsiders wanting to come in that are legitimately wanting to get into this sport. So, what are your thoughts about that?
I think that honestly, it's extremely justified. Personally, because I feel that one, I was in the circuit and I took the real punches. I did what I had to do, the training and having to go to work. You know what I mean? Having to hold a job and train at the same time. Uh, Having to lose fights because injuries or having to postpone fights because of work or postpone training because of work. I think that the fighters who are complaining, they have some justification in there. I think it's a little unfair that he gets to go straight to pro just because of his name. I think that he's doing himself an injustice by not going amateur first. I think he's stepping into a whole nother realm as far as the game he's trying to play. I think that the person they picked for him, I think it's better. I think that he should have fought some guy from a smaller circuit into the main stage versus fighting a Nate Diaz or a Nick Diaz type fight who's just going to destroy him off the bat.
Hmm.
I think that the remarks and the people that are angry are more so angry not because CM Punk's fighting, but because on his first fight he's about to cash in on such a big payday that these people have 11, 12, 13 fights in the UFC and they're making $35,000 to show and $20,000 if they win, 15 if they lose. You know, and maybe they might get a fight of the night, maybe they might get a submission of the night or a knockout of the night, performance of the night. They might get some bonus on top, but you can guarantee CM Punk's going to walk in here and pull at least 750 to 1.5 million. You know, just off the top. I think that's more so where the anger stems from, that he gets to walk in and just expect this huge payday. Granted, he's pulling huge numbers. I don't think that Overeem and Miocic alone can make this card, you know, a hot seller. You know, as good as Overeem is and as good as Miocic is, they're not going to sell this pay-per-view like CM Punk and Mickey Gall. I mean, no one knew who the fuck
Right.
Mickey Gall was before, you know, but I think those fighters got to understand that as well. The people who are fighting on this card, who are getting a cut of this pay-per-view bonus, should be thanking CM Punk for being on that card with them. So, I mean, that's my take on it.
That makes an interesting point. And just for the record, are you or have you ever been a CM Punk fan?
In wrestling, I mean, I know I don't really watch wrestling too much, but he was very entertaining. I like the way he just like, I don't know, like how he acted in the ring, the not I don't give a shit what you think attitude, but that was wrestling. Like this is a little bit different. The acting is still there. You still have to promo. You still have to sell yourself for your fights. But at the end of the day, you're actually going to fight. You're not going to wrestle. You know.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of fights, you know, they did showcase his first sparring match, and it's to be expected. You know, he did go against an experienced welterweight in Craig Eckelberg, which I think they said he was like 6-2. And I did like how they exposed his vulnerabilities while he was sparring. But the one thing that was noticeable for me, and again, I'm not as big of an MMA person like you are, but what I noticed myself was that his conditioning right off the bat was just not there. You know, he was very slow to get up, you know, in the corner, like really. So how critical is it for him to be like real conditioned? Like, I mean, he's got a positive attitude and his willingness to improve. And I feel like he's being humble in the respect of taking this seriously. But to me, his conditioning was, you know, not there. How important is the conditioning aspect of this?
I might get a lot of disagreements of this. I don't think his conditioning's bad. What people aren't realizing is CM Punk has 5 days, 6 days, 5 days before weigh-in, 6 days before fight. All right, you're videotaping this thing. CM Punk's a natural 215, 220 walk around weight. CM Punk's dropping out of 170. All right, we're not. I mean, he's cutting 40 pounds. You know, he's going to cut 40, 45 pounds in a month or two. So you do it through training. I know me personally, when I was fighting at 185, I had a hard time when I was walking around at 210. I had to move up to light heavyweight, and I started walking around at 220, 225, and I couldn't make light heavyweight no more. It was just killing my body. You know, 2 of my significant losses came from me just not being able to make that weight or being so drained to make that weight that the performance lacked. And it lacks in training quite a bit. The only thing I really see that that is hurting him in training is his ability to not stand and fight. I feel like he can't. He has Brock Lesnar syndrome, where the minute the pressure's on him, he doesn't know how to handle it. You know, when he's in control, he's confident, but the minute he takes a hit, his confidence drains very quick. And I mean, that's natural for someone going to their first fight, their first camp, their first training. But that's another reason why people say that he should have experienced the amateur circuit and the undercard before he just went straight to co-main event. You know,
Right.
I think that his conditioning, I think it's average. I mean, you're seeing CM Punk because he's on display right now. But you go look at George St. Pierre. I don't care. Everybody says how good he is. Anderson Silva, John Jones, Donald Cerrone. You look at these guys with phenomenal conditioning, but I want you to see if you can ever get a tape of them through their last month of training where they're cutting the weight and training at the same time.
Mhm.
It's going to kill anybody. So, I mean, that's my take on it.
So how would you compare like his conditioning towards like someone who just walks into your studio, your dojo for like the first time, and granted, the person that's actually taking it seriously, not the ones who are coming in because they saw a good fight in UFC and then 2 weeks later they're no longer to be heard of again. Like, how would you compare his conditioning? And granted, remember, this first episode kind of takes place about a year from today, probably a year and a couple months from today. But how would you
Right.
compare the two?
Honestly, if I had to rate him on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best conditioning I've seen for someone walking in to a camp, like in my gym, I would probably give him about an 8 or 9. I think he's well ahead from the average person that walks in. The average person just getting ready to start MMA isn't nowhere near as good a shape as CM Punk. They're not. They're usually the brawler on the street that's heavy-handed but also heavy-bodied, or the really skinny guy who doesn't want to get picked on no more, who's doing MMA for practice and knowledge in it. But I think as a competitor, I think you don't get those into your gym. You usually mold competitors into from regular people. But I think he's ahead of the game when it comes to his conditioning.
Awesome. Yeah, I would kind of conclude because I mean I've had an opportunity to actually see while you were training them, and I would definitely say that episode one now that CM Punk was definitely ahead of the curve um, from your average walk-ins, and I don't know if I would attribute that to just his work ethic or maybe his experience in the indie scene, because I mean to me professional wrestling is not a joke. Like I know that it gets the bad rap of being fake, but there's a lot of conditioning that does go into it. Stamina plays a big role
Yeah.
in professional wrestling. It's not something that that's just who this is. You guys go out there for 8 minutes, 10 minutes, and put on the show of your life for entertainment. You've got
Right.
to. We've seen wrestlers who've gassed after 2 or 3 minutes of performing in there, and he's definitely way above them. So
Yeah, he's no Ahmed Johnson by no means.
he's no Ahmed Johnson.
But I mean,
Love
but
you, Ahmed, but
that's
we just speaking the truth, bro.
that's just my take on his conditioning. Now, when you talking about his skill, I think his skill is far beyond, or far behind, not beyond, behind where he needs to be.
Yeah.
I think that he decided to do this venture a little bit too late in life. You're not getting any younger, and you're definitely not getting any faster. And you're going to fight someone who is only improving right now. He's in that prime of his stage. It's a bad. I think it's a bad idea. But I mean, you give me fucking $1 million to go fight freaking Mayweather or shit Cain Velasquez. It is what it is. I'm about to make $1 million. So.
Well, I mean, to that defense, I mean, Mayweather fought Canelo, and Canelo is arguably like 10 or 15 years, maybe more younger than he is.
Yeah.
I don't know, but moving a little bit further, I mean, the episode kind of concludes with CM Punk kind of acknowledging that he's an outsider of this particular sport. He understands that wrestling, and he reaffirms that it's something that is to be taken seriously, and that he is definitely going to give it and all. So overall, I think the introductory episode accomplished what it was meant to set out for. It did provide a perspective as into the world of professional wrestling, with someone who has little to no experience in the particular sport itself. The one thing that I did love is the way that it actually closed. It actually showed him cleaning the mats, which was kind of reminiscent of how like old wrestlers used to, the rookies coming into wrestling, they were responsible for setting up the rings before the events and decommissioning the rings. Wanted to see like what your thoughts on that was. I found it a little humorous, but what did you think about that?
I like it because I feel like uh, CM Punk is definitely like a B-list celebrity. You know what I mean? He's not Hollywood, but you would notice him on the sidewalk if he was walking, if he was in Subway, if he was in McDonald's. You know that's CM Punk. You know he's a household name. I like to see the same treatment that they gave Anthony Pettis when he was part of the camp, or he still is part of the camp, but when he first joined. You know, Anthony Pettis and Sergio Pettis were mopping up mats. You know, it's no different. Regardless of his status in the world, he's no different. He's still a student of the art. You know, he's going to be treated as such. And if he doesn't like it, there's another gym for him. But, I mean, I'm glad to see he's doing it. Just because you are who you are doesn't make you better or more important than somebody else. You know, and I like that whether they humbled him or he just accepted to do it, he was humble enough to do it. And I think that was very respectful on his part. I mean, I think he should be cleaning mats personally. I mean, I think he's better at that than fighting. But
You're so wrong for that, bro. Just remember, this is just the first episode. And maybe when we get into episode 2, you might actually change your opinion about it. Episode 2 and 3. So, but we'll get into that a bit more. But you're definitely wrong for that, bro. So, so just sticking to what we know in episode 1. If he were to fight, and this is probably August or September of last year, would you think that he would have, had his UFC fight happened in September or October? And this, again, keep in mind, this was before they actually announced that Gawd was the person that he was fighting.
Yeah.
Would you have thought that he would have been ready for his debut?
Nah. Honestly, I think Dana White is shitting on CM Punk. I don't think that the world sees it. I don't think that CM Punk sees it. I think that he sees, I'm in the UFC. I think Dana White's doing him a very bad injustice. I think that, this should be a one and done thing. Unless CM Punk is extremely good, he comes out and does some shit that the TV's not showing us. I think that by having Mickey Gall being 3-0 in the amateur, and then having a one professional fight, and then having one more professional fight in the UFC, I think Mickey Gall's too experienced. I think Dana White is pretty much doing this to shut down Vince McMahon in a way by showing that his athletes are more superior than his athletes. I don't feel that Mickey Gall's even the right choice. I think that someone in the amateur circuit making their first fight on a pro card is a better suit for CM Punk. I don't think that Mickey Gall is that guy. I think he's too experienced for CM Punk. I think Dana White is setting him up for failure, personally.
Even though this has only been Gall's first or second professional fight, this will be his third professional fight.
Yes, it'll be his third.
You still think it's too soon?
I know, because
you still feel like it's too soon?
Nah, Mickey Gall was the same guy on his second. I mean, the first amateur fight he had, you could tell he has the jitters. The second amateur fight he has, you already know where he's going to stand. I don't think Mickey Gall is going to be the greatest fighter in the world. I do think that he's a lot more confident being that this is about to be his 6th fight. The pro and the amateur card, there's nothing really different other than the money you make and the record you hold. It truly isn't. I mean, there's people in the amateur card with 15 fights as an amateur and not one professional fight. There's people in the pro 20 professional fights and only 3 amateur fights. I don't feel that as far as Mickey Gall and the CM Punk issue, I don't feel that it's a good matchup at all. I think that Gall is way more experienced than CM Punk is going to have the time to get to be as experienced. I think that the jitters for Gall aren't there. I think that he has everything to win and really nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Whether he wins or loses the fight, he has nothing to lose. He's going in there. He gets to co-main event on his second UFC fight against a huge person. I think that all of the confidence is in his favor. You know, he gets to show the world that he gets to beat up CM Punk and nobody else can. Like I said, I think it's just more of a if you go back to 2009 and think of the Randy Couture James Toney fight. I don't know if you remember that fight.
I do.
Everyone hyped up James Toney as the greatest heavyweight boxer for some reason. I don't know why they did that, but they were hyping him up, and I would have understood if they put James Toney against a Rampage Jackson, against a maybe at a minimum Rashad, maybe like Vanderlei Silva, Rampage Jackson. You know, some hardcore strikers who don't want to go to the ground. They want to stand up and fucking fight. They want to bang. That's a better match. But what did Dana White do? He put him against Randy Couture, a guy that's going to take you down, grind you out, ground and pound, submit you. He's going to wrestle you. He's a world-class Greco-Roman wrestler. Ain't no fucking – I mean, his only chance was a puncher's chance. If he would have got that one that rocked Randy Couture on the drive, but he didn't. He got taken down and smashed, and UFC won and boxing lost. And I feel it's the same. It's the same situation here with CM Punk and Mickey Gall. UFC 2, you know, WWE. Actually, it'd be 1-1 because Brock Lesnar is a fucking specimen of God when it comes to fighting.
Yeah.
But CM Punk is no Brock Lesnar. You know,
Brock Lesnar.
Dude,
I so wanted him to come out to his theme song, bro. I was gonna mark the hell out when I
was waiting to hear "Ladies and Gentlemen." That's what I wanted to hear.
Oh man, but
no, I do. I think Dana White set him up for failure, and I think all the hype that he's getting for being CM Punk is making him forget or not even realize that he's being set up for failure.
Well, so this is from what I've known from Punk, just by, I mean, not personally, but just like professionally. Like, he's not a guy that really gets into the reviews and what people say and things of that nature. You usually like secludes himself from that. So I always think of this guy as a humble guy, but that might just be the mark in me and just what has been portrayed out. But to me, I think he's a humble guy. I think that he's doing this for himself. I don't think it's necessarily for like a payday or anything like that. I mean, the dude's got money to last him for the rest of his life. Doesn't really need it. I think this is just more for something of himself. I do agree. I feel like it is. He is being set up for failure in a sense. If anyone has taught me anything, Guru the God, is that anybody could be beaten on any given night, and Gall's no exception. So I mean, this could be his very first loss in the UFC, and maybe not by knockout. It might even be like by decision. But what if he does win? I mean, what are the naysayers going to say from that perspective if he does win?
I mean, if he wins, all I can say is congratulations, good job, your training paid off. But if CM Punk wins, it only does him more of an injustice. He doesn't have a 1-fight contract. CM Punk, I think, has an 8-fight contract. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 8 fights he signed. If he beats Mickey Gall, the only thing next is someone that is either ranked in the top 15. I don't see him going put up against a top 10 fighter. Because, I mean, honestly, CM Punk's not even a top 100 fighter.
Yeah, but the thing is that even though he may not be positioned to fight someone that's in the top 20,
but that's the thing. That's the thing. UFC only has the top 20. They don't have anything beyond that. You have your top 15, and then the people who aren't ranked, when it has their name, there's no number by it, are there 15 to 20. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is that, the ranking system in UFC is, in my opinion,
it's shit.
It's
shit.
A joke. It's more about
it's a Facebook ranking.
Wants to call? Yeah, Exactly. Who wants to
Who's
call
popular?
out, as they say, who's popular? I want to make a name for myself, which that's the part of it of UFC that's never appealed to me personally.
Yeah.
I'm all for. I love watching like judo in the Olympics and wrestling in the Olympics. I love that kind of stuff because it truly pits the best against the best. Because the ranking system there is humble. You go through your regional, you go through your locals, you go through your regional, you go through your nationals, and then you submit your best person to the other country's best person. But I feel like UFC doesn't sincere ranking system. I see like number 2 fighters going against number 15 or 16 fighters just because someone has said something bad on social media, or they rubbed them the wrong way, or they said that they're lazy or something of that nature. And that's the thing that I hope that with the new ownership of USC that they kind of clean that out a bit.
I mean,
I
Dominic
just
Cruz
don't want
said
it
it
to be as
best.
stale as boxing is.
Dominic Cruz said it the best. He, if you watched 202, all right, you watched 202, Cody Garbrandt, all right, Cody Garbrandt, ranked number 8. He fought somebody who's ranked, I think, number 12. He's fighting people backwards, but wanting a title shot next. But he hasn't beat nobody in the top 5, and because he keeps knocking people out, but these people are ranked behind you. You're not beating anyone closer to the line. I think personally that he should fight a John Lineker, but no, Cody Garbrandt it looks like he's up next for the title shot with Cruz, which is phony because he doesn't deserve it. I mean, he hasn't fought nobody better than him. He's fought people ranked behind him, and for some reason, UFC, you can fight people behind you and move up, and the people who are up move down because you beat someone that's lower ranked than you. I don't know. It's crazy. I think the UFC system is shitty, but it's either that or Bellator. So
Yeah.
what do you do?
And that's your opinion, and no one can hold you to that. So I get you, bro. All
I
right,
mean,
man.
Bellator's on the come up. I can't sit here and bash them. They're on the come up. They got some good people now. So.
Yeah, you got to get the fans behind it in order to make it a good product, though. So
Yeah.
UFC's got the monopoly on that. So
Well, it's because they're not headlining Ken Shamrock. That's why.
we need that beast Dan Severn back.
Yeah. Fucking Shamrock and Gracie or fucking
That's right.
old ass fucking fighters smell like Ben Gay and shit.
Hey, man. Right now, I mean, that's all the rage right now in WWE. So, bringing back the old ones to make the new ones look much better. But that's discussion. Yeah. That's discussion for another show. So, all right, man. Well, that's pretty much it. So, when are we gonna get you to get like a social media account? Because you like nowhere present right now.
Man, social media it's not my thing. But I guess since I'll be part of this, I'll be part of social media in that area.
Okay, well, we'll have to work on that, Guru the God.
Yeah, they can. I'll get it up, and hopefully by the next time we do this, I'll have a social media account. We can advertise from there.
At the very least, a Twitter account or something like that. So
yeah, or leave your comments below on the YouTube block, and I'll read them. And if I don't like them, I'll read the next one.
Fair enough, my friend. Fair enough, man. All right, man. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up here. So just want to thank everybody for watching. Again, continuing to support It's Real Wrestling Podcast. We do have our website up right now, so you can go ahead and visit that at www.irwp.us. You can find me, Sage the Mark, at Sage the Mark on Twitter. Ben Goosen at Ben_Goosen on Twitter, and at Real WrestleCast as well. So thank you again, guys, for showing up, and we should have episode 2 of this series in the next couple of days. So please be sure to like, share, subscribe to our channel so that way you get all the notifications that you need. Thank you again. Sage the Mark out.